Thanks, Lucira, for showing me this Cleave. This Cleave is really fun to use, and it's very effective into some of the meta defenses. It is a little bit hard to set up, though, not just with gear, but with some of the artifacts that are required. But this is something that I've been advocating for quite a while now, so I'm excited that I get to use it even more than I already did. We do have, of course, Lidica newly buffed, and she is one of the things that enables this Cleave to be so good. So let's take a look at everyone's stats. First up is Zio. Zio is just your standard Zio speed, pen, toggle hills, 50% crit chance. You still want him decently fast, just in case it's like a fast Harsetti or something. So you can just gear him like a normal speed DPS Zio. Now we've got Frida, and the interesting thing here is she is on YoungSenya's artifact. This usage of it, YoungSenya's artifact on Frida, is something I've been doing. The second they released YoungSenya, I instantly bottled this to plus 30 and started using it against Harsetti defenses, because this 15% CR push the foremost ally lets you actually tune your cleaves for once against this unit. I've been doing it with Briar Witch and BBK to very good effect into a ton of teams, so getting to use it again here is really nice as well. You want her still decently fast, maybe not this fast. This speed is to cover Spear Payra for when I race Payra, but you want her still decently fast in case of fast Harsetti with bulk. Now we can take a look at Lidica. Instead of building her fast, I've just got her on a lower speed with DPS stats. We can run her a little bit slower if anything, since the CR push from Frida's artifact, or Frida holding YoungSenya's artifact, is a lot. We do still need to be mindful of fast Harsettis. For artifact, we're using Lidica Candle for the Death Break chance. Death Break on her S2, 37.5% chance. And then Judge Kise S2 also has Death Break on it, and her S3 has Ignore Ephra's Death Break. We'll get into her skills later since she's very newly buffed. For her exclusive equipment though, even though this one's up for change, keep it. The Restrict is super useful. This is what prevents ML Ilnav from cutting in after you use your skills. So just because she got buffed recently, S2 now inflicts resource reduction on everybody, then decreases buff durations by 1 turn, then inflicts bind and restrict. Restrict coming from the exclusive equipment. And then also for everyone that got hit, she gets 25% CR. So pretty much, this means that even into YoungSenya and Flan, you're going to be able to S2 into them safely. You'll remove all of Flan's focus, and YoungSenya won't be able to proc her S2. You'll remove immunity buff, and then you'll bind and restrict. So bind means no counters, no extra attacks. Also no duels, but that's not really important. It's no counters and no extra attacks, most importantly. And then restrict means that no CR pushes. And then her S3, after you get your 100% CR from S2, S3 gives you... Oh, also, of course, you can soul burn this to ignore Ephra's. Very good. So, S3 has Death Break and pushes the person back all the way by 100%, and gives skill nullifier to everybody for some reason. And also, if they have bind, it ignores Ephra's. Since we can soul burn this to ignore Ephra's, this will pretty much always ignore Ephra's as well. So you've got AoE resource reduction, decrease buff duration, bind and restrict, immediately into decrease defense, plus decrease combat readiness by 100%, plus skill nullifier to all allies, and all of that all ignores Ephra's. Very good unit. Lastly, there is Judge Kise. For Judge Kise, the thing that is important is this blue rose with the 10 souls. These 10 souls are mandatory, otherwise we don't have enough souls to actually soul burn everybody. Her stats are also just DPS gear, and I have her a little bit fast just to cover fast Harsettis. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just speed DPS and make sure you have blue rose on her. So this team is a bit expensive to set up. You need YoungSenya's artifact plus 30 no matter what, or you're not going to be able to do this consistently at all. You could just play the speed RNG game. 50% of the time, Lidica is going to be ahead of Judge Kise, and surely your artifact procs, but I think this artifact is really good, especially if you're cleaving in arena, because you can do both this cleave plus the BBK Berseria Cleave that I've shown before. So I think it's a good investment. And then you do need Blue Rose on Judge Kise as well to have enough souls. I can talk about what this doesn't work into. Be careful of Bystander Hua Young, because she's going to kick somebody and it's not going to be great. And then there is also Bellion, of course, shuts off souls. Doesn't really work into her. Abyssal Euphine with her CR push cut is also not fantastic to run this into. Though I would say for the Bystander Hua Young defenses, a good amount of them you can run the Berseria BBK Cleave into that I've shown before. Though if it's Bystander Hua Young with ML Ilanav, then you're probably not going to be able to Briar Witch BBK it. But that means that you can probably YoungSenya it, so no matter what, it's not that big of a deal, I think. So let's take a look at a hit. Starting off, you just Zio S3 into somebody. I don't think it really matters who you hit, because you're not going to do anything besides just strip the barrier, and then pushback and silence can be nice though. I usually like to hit into Emily, partially just because I don't like her. Frida S3 for attack buff and the CR push, plus Proof of Friendship, pushes Lidica ahead of Judge Kise. So we can S2, and when it's against the base speed Harsetti, since Lidica's S2 pushes 100%, Judge Kise is actually going to get to go first. So we can check if anybody didn't get Death Break on them. It's Emily in this case. So we'll use our S3 into Emily for Ignore F for his Death Break. You're guaranteed at least one Death Break. And now we can S3 to wipe them out. So you've got Eligia Candle plus Judge Kise S2 for some RNG sources of Death Break. And then we can use Judge Kise S or Lidica S3 for one guaranteed Death Break. You've got pretty good odds to land your Death Break. And you can see even though we didn't kill Flan, everybody has skill nullifier, so it's fine. So now we can take a look at another hit. This one I messed up. It's fast Harsetti and I wasn't paying attention. There's still ways to recover from this though. I S3 into Emily. It definitely should have been into Harsetti for an 85% chance to push her back. Regardless, Frida S3 and Proof of Friendship gets our Lidica ahead of Harsetti. So we're going to S2 here, and since it's fast Harsetti, Judge Kise won't get to go first. We're going to Lidica S3 into Harsetti. And now we're going to Judge Kise S2. And you can see it's Proof of Valor F Sassy, which is a bit of a problem because we're not going to be able to kill her. This is why me not Zio S3ing into Harsetti was kind of an issue. But luckily we hit Flan, so it's not any problem. Just F Sassy can't kill us, so we'll just slowly take her out. So we can do one more hit into this defense. Same as usual, S3 into Emily. S3 with Frida, and then we're gonna do the Lidica S2 Soulburn. And slow Harsetti again, so Judge Kise is gonna get to go ahead of Lidica before she S3s, which is our preferred outcome. So everybody has Death Break, so we're just S3 for damage, and I picked wrong here. I shouldn't hit Emily, I should hit Harsetti, because Emily already got pushed back by Zio. So if I manage to kill Harsetti before people start moving, Zio's gonna be able to cut ahead of Emily and kill her. So I definitely should have S3'd, or Lidica S3'd into Harsetti instead of Emily there, though if we missed ASFlan, and there's no way for us to kill her, the CR push from ASFlan S3, if it's a faster Emily, might let her cut. Kind of hard to tell, but either way, I think it's probably still better to just S3 into Harsetti. Whatever, we won, so it doesn't really matter. We got a variant of defense here. This one uses Politis. So starting off like normal, we just S3 into Emily, and then we're going to Frida S3. One thing is that a lot of Politises are on Warhorn, which gives 20% CR after the third turn, and this would happen after Lidica's S2. But the really cool thing about this Lidica unit is she has Ignore F-Res Restrict on her S2. So Politis can't actually cut you. I was kind of worried that she might be able to cut if you had bad speed RNG, but hey, we've got Restrict. This one's not on Warhorn anyways. Even if she was, it wouldn't be a problem. And now we just kind of killed the entire team already. This is what happens when you replace F-Sessi with a squishy unit. And the fight is over. This team also works pretty well into the YoungSenya defenses, as long as they don't have one of the units I mentioned that this team just does not work into. Since Lidica's S2 inflicts resource reduction, as long as we don't hit Senya with Zio S3 here, we're going to be fine. Checking CRs, Judge Kise is going to push to 96, which is going to be enough to cut Harsetti. So I don't bother S3ing into Harsetti, I S2 Mort instead. We push up with Frida. You can see YoungSenya's Fighting Spirit went down. And now I'm going to opt to S3 into Mort just to kill him. Because Judge Kise's S2 can't be countered, so Mort's not going to be able to counter this, and we can just get a confirmed kill on him. He'd die anyways because he got pushed so far back by Zio, but this cleans it up nice and easy. And then this is just another version of this defense. This is just to mention that Bloodblade Karin, if she's on Sword Art Storm Sword, might be a bit of a problem if she cuts ahead of your Judge Kise. So Frida does push by 25%, but that's only 1% of leeway since Sword Storm pushes a ridiculous 24%. So that is something to keep in mind when you're hitting into BBKs. You might want to just dodge BBKs altogether unless you feel like risking it. This one's no problem. Judge Kise S2 strips the second immortality. S3 into Mort for the damage, almost managed to kill him. And now we can just clean it all up. Of course, we didn't kill Ilnav as we S3'd into Mort, but this is the thing where Zio's just in a lap anyways, so we can just kill her. And that's it for the team. Thanks again to Lucira for showing this to me. Something about this team is just really satisfying to use. I think it's just all of the AoEs that we get to use, and also the part where Judge Kise S2 interrupts Lidica S3, so you get to pick and choose with Lidica S3 to see what you want to do with it after Judge Kise lands her death breaks. There is, of course, the variation that I've showed before, where I use Briar Witch and BBK that I mentioned. So you can check that out in the other video, or with my stats on it that I'll have in the description. It's an older video, but it's the exact same stats, and I still use it against all of the Hwa Young defenses.